Friends, enemies, or lovers? If you guessed friends or enemies, you're actually wrong. This is Ruby and Sapphire, a queer couple from Cartoon Network's hit series Steven Universe. Come join me in exploring the presence of LGBTQ+ characters in children's TV shows in the 21st century. At the dawn of a new age, creators and showrunners have begun to create more space for queer representation in children's animated shows. Let's take a look at a brief history of queer characters in animated children's shows and how it's evolving. Throughout the 20th century, there were only limited characters in kids' cartoons that were either explicitly queer or confirmed to be, most of them only showcasing implications of being queer. Characters like Bugs Bunny, Velma, Skeleton, Sailor Neptune, and Sailor Uranus are just some examples. It was only after the 2010s when we started seeing more queer representation, and explicit at that. Some notable characters from shows that aired in the 21st century or continue to air as of this day include Princess Bubblegum and Marceline, Gumball, Wendy, Korra and Asami Sato, and the many characters of Steven Universe. These are just some examples, with all these characters varying in queer identities from orientation to gender expression. According to Insider's database on LGBTQ+ characters in children's animated shows, prior to the 21st century, there were very limited confirmed queer characters in these shows. As the new century began, we are starting to see an increase, but it was only in 2015 when it began to skyrocket the following years, particularly peaking in 2019, having over 74 queer characters. This can be attributed to the fact that with a new generation comes new ideas and cultural norms. So why is noting the presence of queer characters in children's animated shows so important? The 20th century was when we first began to see queer representation in these shows. However, most of these shows featured limited or implicitly represented queer characters. Now, it continues to evolve, showcasing a bigger picture of the spectrum of orientations and gender identities. In consideration of the significant role that the media and entertainment plays in our beliefs, attitudes, and behaviors, animated children's shows become a source of learning for their evolving ideas and cultural norms. These shows have the ability to teach them about intersectional queerness and queer gender expression. Including queer representation in kids' cartoons grants them diverse role models, educates them of the LGBTQ+ spectrum, and allows them to reflect on their identity exploration. Children are naturally curious about the world around them. One could view queer characters as simply another tool children can use to learn about the vast culture the world has to offer. Although prior to the 21st century there were only limited queer representation, animators and showrunners are now creating spaces to proudly show and represent queerness in children's television to push for diverse representation for younger audiences. Queer representation for children, in particular, is one way in which they can develop a better cultural understanding of the LGBTQ+ community and challenge their pre-existing or evolving ideas on gender and sexuality. This may be a lot to take in, but tune in for more videos like this to continue learning about the LGBTQ+ community. That concludes today's video. You can go ahead and watch part 1 of Sex vs. Gender, What Does It All Mean? To learn about the difference between the two terms. Bye!